Larson here, and I'm at the photo booth with some flea market finds and some birthday presents. I had the absolute privilege of spending the day with one of my oldest friends from all the way back in high school, Rich, and his son, Max. Max and I share the same birthday week. We're a few days and several years apart. So everyone join me in wishing Max a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Max. Max was kind enough to put together a batch of figures for me for my birthday out of stuff from his own collection, and I feel bad because even though he told me who everyone was, I don't remember. So forgive me. One and all, I'm going to start off with those figures from this batch of stuff that Max presented me with. That I greatly appreciate. Up first, we've got the Happy Meal Peter Parker figure. He's got this spider sense mechanism where he changes into his half Spider-Man, half Peter Parker spider sense head from the old animated series in the late 90s, 98, 99, 2000, somewhere around there. You know, probably even earlier than that, maybe like 95, 96. And then you've got, I think he was in McDonald's Happy Meal. Did I say that? This guy... I see this guy at a lot of flea markets and stuff. I honestly don't. I always think he's from Voltron, but he's not from Voltron. He is marked Bandai. I'm guessing he's a Power Rangers figure. Like I said, I don't remember, but I see him around quite a bit, and he's in good shape too. He's a good little 3 3/4 inch action figure. Over here, excuse me. Okay, two Street Fighter action figures. Rich has always been a Street Fighter guy. I've always been a Mortal Kombat guy. So if this was Sub-Zero and Scorpion, I would know their names. Given that they are Street Fighter characters, I don't know their names. So sorry about that. But I do love the artistic element of Street Fighter as far as the way the characters are illustrated, the aesthetic approach, and then of course how it all translates into the three-dimensional sculpted figures. So those guys are cool. And then back here we've got some Centurion's parts for Max Ray. I've got a bag full of miscellaneous Centurion's bits. And I don't have these pieces. I can't remember off the top of my head here. Should have done my research before I started the video to get the actual names. I'm gonna call this one Depth Charge. Sounds right? I don't know. But this is for Max Ray's underwater stuff. I may have the missiles. I may have the other pieces that go to this. I do not know off the top of my head, but that's a cool piece. I can fix this too. This is sort of warped there, but we'll take care of that. And then over here, we've got some parts to Ultron, Build-A-Figure. I currently have a few torsos. This is the first leg I've got, and I think I might have an arm, I'm not sure. But I've never been able to put this whole figure together, so I do appreciate Max hooking me up here with a leg and another torso. You can never have too many Ultron parts. That's the whole idea with Ultron, right? I mean, ideally you'd have like a whole army of Ultron figures, so that's good. And then this really fantastic piece. I've never actually seen one of these in person before. This is Fisher-Price Adventure People Opticon. He's like a robot from their space, from the space shuttle and all the astronomical stuff that they put together. And I don't really get the design. I mean, he kind of, I guess he's, this is ship mode or vehicle mode. I don't really know. But it does sort of transform, I guess. It's a really, I don't know, man. It's just a really out there kind of character. I love the gemstone that is on here. I don't get it. I don't know who designed this. I don't know what they were thinking, but I love it. I love this thing, and I've seen pictures of it on Instagram all over the place. I've known about it for years. This figure's from it's old. It's either late 70s or early 80s, and it's really fantastic piece, and I really genuinely appreciate this, Max. Thank you very much for hooking me up with that. Also here, we've got some flea market finds. Up front first, we've got two Robotech pieces. These are they're marked Bandai. I believe they're the Matchbox ones. They're from 1984 from Robotech. Although they're obviously originally from Macross. They both came as a set from the same person at the flea market. Really good condition. They're both very white. Whenever you see them, they're almost always yellowed. And the real beauty here was that they both have all of their gear, all their booster gear and armor plates and whatever. And then, of course, there was actually one gun as well. A couple of drawbacks, though. They are very loose. I'm sure you can see them rattling here just when I'm trying to rotate them around, and they're barely standing. Their knees and hips, there you go, are so loose. And then unfortunately, this he's got his top guns here are busted off, and I did not notice that when I was actually buying them. So probably could have got a couple of bucks off of that purchase if I had noticed they were busted. But the fact that they had their gear intact, even if I had tried to counter for a couple of bucks off because they were busted, I probably still would have ended up buying them anyway because they had all their stuff. So that was really cool to get those. These guys are adorable. We've got up front here, we got Megatron, Transmetal's Megatron. This guy is in really nice shape. Obviously, he's going to suffer from, I don't know if he necessarily suffers from the gold plastic syndrome or if he's just particularly got a weak waist joint, but I know I've had these in the past where if you put too much pressure on this waist joint right here, it just disintegrates. So this one's actually in good shape, and the guy's table that it was sitting at, one of his little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms wasn't on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's right there. The guy probably wants a couple bucks for it. But then I found the leg, popped it on, and it was right. He only wanted a couple bucks for it. So I grabbed that. Chrome's in good shape. There's a couple of little minor flaws on it. But you know, given the age and the type of plastic and this chrome paint and stuff, I was more than excited to see that there. And then last piece in the back, we've got not a big deal Micro Machines playset. The guy thought it was a Barbie truck, even though it is clearly branded Micro Machines. But it's rough. It's rough, and I don't know that I'm even going to necessarily keep it. But I did want to grab it for two reasons. One, it was had some Micro Machines inside, so there's a good, nice little assortment here of boats and we got boats and cars and helicopters. And actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, some of these are not Micro Machines. They are micro or mini Hot Wheels cars. And unfortunately, these airplanes, like all the propellers, are busted. That's unfortunate. But still a couple of my favorites. You got the F-15, the Thunderbird style F-15, the jumbo jet with the space shuttle on the back of it. This helicopter's, oh no, the helicopter, yep, helicopter's all right. The F-4 Phantom, nice piece there. Just a lot of cool cars, a lot of cool vehicles and stuff. And then, oh, you got a Camaro back here that has seen better days. Firebird. So, good batch of Micro Machines, but I wanted to grab this for anybody who hasn't seen it before. This actually does open up into a playset, which is actually pretty sizable, and you probably can't even appreciate the full size of it here in the booth. But look how dirty it is. And I actually did clean this up a little bit before I started shooting, but it's a pretty fantastic playset. Micro Machines did a lot to sort of expand the playability of the line. They had mini playsets that folded up into smaller cases, and then they had a whole line of larger playsets that had there's all kinds of attachments and stuff and towers and whatever, and it's just a really great, fun little piece. And you know what? You've probably got a Godzilla figure somewhere that would work really great with this. Anyway, that's the flea market finds and all the birthday presents. Thanks again to Rich and Max. Thank you guys for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe. Thanks. Later.